Hey, welcome into the Five Hole Fantasy Hockey Podcast. We're your hosts, Jay and Alan. We are here with the Week 11 script, straight from the NHL or one of the gambling sites, whichever. They may tell us what a hand pass is this week. Here with your team and stream. So we're targeting news and updates from around the league. Jay, so I was dealing with our Twitter, going through updates and stuff. I saw a name I haven't seen in a very long time. Kalen Addison. Yeah, we want to talk about that Minnesota power play. That's a name I have not seen in a long time. Apparently, he's in the New Jersey system right now.
Oh, boys. It's the throws and royals of the season, Alan. Just week 10 hockey. What can we say?
But yeah, so before we get into it, as always, appreciate you jumping in already on the YouTube. Got a few people in there watching live. Make sure to subscribe, like the video if you haven't already. And you can always hop in our Discord, chirp directly to us, get questions answered. You can follow us on Twitter, slide into our DMs, get updates. I like to retweet. I like to provide colorful commentary on things, but not too colorful. And you can subscribe to us on your podcast platform of choice. Now, so before we jump into the headlines, pretty much the two headlines that matter in the last 48 hours, for the audio only people, I'm going to be very nice to you. I want to, because I'm sure we can spend at least half an hour, and I don't want to make this like an hour and a half episode. I'm going to just cut all of our discussions on the Skinner Jari trade and then the Quinn Hughes trade into its own audio only episode and upload that along with just your normal week preview, the script. And you'll have two different things to listen to. So you can listen to both things at your own leisure. Like if you just want to listen, if you're not that interested in the trades, you don't have to listen to that. You don't have to skip over it. But yes, let's get into the most exciting things that's happened in the last 48 hours. So Jay and I kind of went over it on Saturday, but we, now I know I've dived into some things in the last 24 hours. I'm sure Jay has too. So first up, Tristan Jarry. Edmonton has made a move on a goalie in the NHL. So we got Tristan Jarry heading to Edmonton, Stuart Skinner heading to Pittsburgh. So with that done, I kind of wonder, Jay, if Edmonton is going to pull a Colorado last year and we see Calvin Pickard move.
Oh, man.
Because Pickard hasn't been much better. Do we think they move for, I don't know, one of the names I've heard, and he's in the AHL right now. He's on like a conditioning stint. It'd probably be a minute before he might move, but Laurent Brossoit is a name I've heard.
Yeah, that's a deep cut, right? I think and already sitting on that lineup somewhere. He's not active though. I don't know actually.
No, he's like I said, he's in the AHL, so it'd be a minute. But I wonder if we're gonna see Edmonton attempt a complete retool of their goalie tandem on the fly.
Yeah, the crease is kind of shifty at the moment. I would even say right now, like let's say Jarry does. I mean, yesterday you mentioned that Jarry was what 883. And that's
893. 893. So right around what league average is so far this season. I checked it at one point. I could have sworn I saw it was 897. Apparently, it's moved up like a hair to 898, give or take. So it's right below 900. For the first time in years, it's just scoring is up.
And I think sometimes playing onto the idea of the script as well, right? Like I think that the way the goals and when the goals go in and are allowed play a huge factor as well. No second goal. I mean, I'm almost screaming this to the choir and preaching to the choir, but yeah, no goals are equally distributed to the point where if you let in the second goal of the game, it doesn't matter if it's a 6-2 blowout win for you. If you let in a 6-2 goal or even a 6-3 goal, whereas in like a 1-1 game, it matters immensely if you let in that second goal or not. So
right.
I think people were complaining heavily with regards to Stuart Skinner, that what was that statement? The big game goalie gripe. The big game that comes to mind, not even fantasy hockey relevant, but immediately NHL relevant, was that Game 7, where it was a rather soft goal, the decisive goal that won the Stanley Cup in the end for Florida. You know, it was kind of just like it was like an odd man rush or whatever. Like they just walked in and scored like on a short side shot, something to that effect. People would always like remember and crystallize into memory as, hey, look, like we don't think this guy's got it when it actually comes, you know, like brass tacks down. It's a 50-50. We think he's going to give it up. And my issue, Alan, is I think when I look at those three goalies, Jari, Pickard, let's say Ingram, who's the goalie you mentioned, Laurent Brossoit?
Brossoit, who is, again, he's in Chicago's system right now. This is pie in the sky. Like
Pie
if they really wanted to rebuild their tandem from the ground up.
I'm almost saying, like, out of all those guys, I probably would still go with Jari, right? I think I would still think Jari would have the best chance of like that 50-50 game. He'll come trumps.
And this is, I mean, digging in on Jari, it's so, what I thought was weird is, yes, we talk about how like Skinner has this playoff experience. He's got 50 playoff games under his belt,
right?
Including those back-to-back cup finals. But Jari only has 8 playoff games under his belt. He hasn't won a series. Right. And none of his stats look that great. And then, well, and I guess to his credit, by that time, the Penguins were pretty bare. They had already won their back-to-back cups. So it's hard to say like it's all Jari's fault that they didn't make it further. But in the regular season, like if you look back to like from like 2019 to 2022, he was a pretty damn good goalie, like well above league average. So if they can get that Jari, that'd be awesome. And I did find it. I talked about this Saturday and I couldn't find the exact type of injury, but I did find confirmation that there was an injury. So it appears that in the 2023 Winter Classic, I think it was against Boston, he did sustain some sort of lower body injury that took him over a year to finally sort of be fully recovered. In his words, this is the first season that he feels like human again. And I think this is part of the reason why we're seeing what we are out of him. Like last season, he was, sent down on waivers. And you know, that's part of the point people are chiding Edmonton for, is like, this is a guy you could have gotten for free last year when he was put on waivers. What are you doing making a trade for him? There's no logical rhyme or reason for that. So
I think another in that statement, Al, you made about his health, I think is going to be the big ticket factor, because sorry, I interrupted you, but yeah, I'll keep going with your thought.
No, I mean, and again, if we can get like, you know, if we, 22, 23 was when he incurred that injury. If we can get the Jari, and again, it's not quite apples to apples because scoring is up. So that save percentage, we may not see that save percentage again. And so let me read these, these save percentages from like starting, 2019 to 2020 and then 21 to 22. We're looking at 921, 909, 919. Like if we can expect that kind of Jari from, in Edmonton, or even just something a little bit closer to league average, make a few more saves. Yeah, that's exactly kind of what Edmonton was looking for. And that was kind of the best they could do mid-season. Yeah, and I know everyone's like, well, they want Soros. Like, well, yeah, but you're not going to be able to make that trade in the middle of the season. That's an off-season trade.
There was that quote, and maybe this is just from my area of the woods, talking to so many Oilers fans, like dreaming about the yonder days and glory days of like, yesteryear and air yesterday. But they talked a lot about Grant Fuhr and how he had the opposite impression of Stuart Skinner, right? Where he made the saves that mattered. You look at Grant Fuhr's like records and it was horrendous. Like you'd see like some of his numbers look like Monopoly, like Swiss cheese. It's just ridiculous. It felt as if he was letting in 4 or 5 goals a night, but he would always end up being on the better end of a 6-5 or 7-4 drubbing. And so I I know the NHL has shifted and changed since. What I do wonder is Edmonton is unlikely to play that sort of style of hockey where it's like a grind down 2-1 game every night. I know they've
Right.
improved, and on that facet, that's probably made the difference for them where they, were able to make the playoffs very, very consistently, beating down consistent numbers of teams, same teams over and over. Like Kings fans know that for sure. But the second part is more so when they've needed a goalie to make the stop, Skinner has shown maybe there's, or maybe we're talking out our butts, Alan. Like maybe it just so happened it was like the 50-50s rolled the way they did. It's so tough, right? Like these are one games. These are single 60-minute periods of time in
Right.
one game
And
that determined like huge things over.
it's so easy if you watch the right video snippets to say like, oh yeah, it's fucking Skinner's fault. Like, what are you talking about?
For sure.
But it's like if you like, and again, I haven't watched all of Edmonton's games, but it's like the ones I watched, I'm like, that's a breakdown of
Yeah.
like getting back in time or like creating and like letting that odd man rush happen over and over again. Yeah,
And the
it's
other one
and
and another one we've thought of further was that if you have a goalie that gives you, let's say, league average, and maybe that was his issue, right? If you're saying he's not even league average, but at what point do you assort blame? When can you sort blame? Can we factor in that slumps can also happen independently of your defensive
yeah,
breakdown as well? There are so many other I guess combinatory factors that I sit there and I felt bad at some points looking and saying, look, I know his percentages aren't great. I know his there are some goals where it's like a huge whoopsie doodle, and like it always seems to happen at a very bad time as well. But at the same time, I think it's so convenient, and I don't like convenient answers sometimes because I feel like it doesn't ever fully explain something that is so simple. How could it be that your entire 23-man roster, that loss is just blamed on one guy? Like that just seems very illogical to me.
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, there's bloopers of Nurse, definitely of Bouchard out
Bouchard?
there.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
it's and even I've seen short form videos out there of like, hey, we traded Skinner for this guy, and it's silly things that Jari's done, and I'm sure if you look hard enough, you can find things like that of Vasilevsky, of Shesterkin. Like these guys are human, and that's kind of what makes the sport exciting. Is that like the best teams can beat, or the worst teams can beat the best teams on any given night.
For sure.
But yeah, anyway, before we get too far in the weeds, so what does this mean for fantasy? I don't know. I would say if Tristan Jarry is available in your wire, I mean, what can we expect? I would say for points leagues, he'll probably get you the wins. Would you agree with that, Jay?
I was even going to go a deeper cut too. I was wondering on this one, Alan, like when we slated Bill of Health, I think Skinner for the most part has been like people have complained about him being there or not being there, but not as in his physical body is there or not, right? It's like, oh, it's a mental thing or whatnot. Jari isn't. Jari actually has a non-clean Bill of Health alongside as an issue, right? Like this.
See, and that's what worries. That's my only concern about Jari, which makes me think that Edmonton isn't done yet. We may see them replace Pickard too, but the question is who's available.
I was even saying when you look at Pickard's setup, right? Like both of those guys have let Jari's played 5 more games than Pickard and let in 2 more goals than Pickard. That's it. That is concerning on Pickard's side.
Whoops.
Like, whoopsie doozle. So I'm wondering even, like, is there value for, like, almost like handcuffing Calvin Pickard? Because
Nope, never value there, Jay. There is never value in owning. And yeah, I think even TJ's pointed it out too. Like you're using 2 roster spots to play a max of 82 games.
But I think if you have an NA slot, I think Connor Ingram might be a huge value add then for slotting in an extra NA player.
I know in our bangers after bangers league, there's an NA spot, and I've had Connor Ingram sitting there like all season,
right?
Like waiting for this moment.
And the reason I say that is because I think with Skinner, the issue was always whether or not he'd be, I guess, like mentally, whatever, ready to assume that starting role consistently, playing consistently enough. Would you need to swap it out? But I think now with Jari, and there's another bigger pressing concern that is legitimate where, hey, like he has had longer stints of injury. I'm blanking on immediately. Like there were a couple names that were constantly going. Was it Shilovs at that point? Like there were certain names where it was like, hey, this guy actually plays pretty well, and like, do we think Jari has like an extended role in Pittsburgh if this other guy is playing so
yeah,
well?
I'm when there was Blomqvist, Nedeljkovic at one point.
Nedeljkovic, yeah.
And now there's talk of Sergei Murashov is sort of their goalie of the future, who's starting today actually. I don't know what the future is for Stuart Skinner. It may not even be in Pittsburgh, but I think for this season at least, I wonder if it's for Skinner at least. I wonder if it's maybe some sort of tandem. I don't. It's hard to say if Skinner will get the majority net share.
And I guess we'll say it for the listeners as well. That's, I guess, real life relevant and not so much fantasy relevant, which is that Skinner was also an unrestricted free agent. So that was another headache for management to consider whether or not they would be re-offering or offering afresh, like an extended offer, an extension to his contract. He was also the starting goalie. I guess this probably shows they're not confident that Calvin Pickard could take starting reps. So instead, by trading with Jari, what they're doing is they're basically setting a 2-year time frame window where it's going to expire the same time as McDavid's contract, right? Like they're going to offload a ton of cap around that same time. And at that time, when that happens, hey, look, if it ends up being, 2 championships and there's 2 championships, right? Maybe they resign both of those guys. And then if not, then it might be one where it's just, hey, a bunch of cap opens up, the guys leave. And, either way, during this time for $5.5 million, they ended up with a starting goalie that they didn't have to extend, because I think no matter what, Skinner was going to get more than, like, someone is going to pay Skinner.
It's cost controlled, which is nice. Especially with the cap going up supposedly as much as it's going to.
So it's a relevant piece that if we're just looking value to value, then I don't think fantasy wise or even honestly, like NHL wise, immediately for the season, we might not see immediate value, but I think that might be something that management was considering when they made the move as well, in addition to all other factors.
So for everyone like me who had a up-down relationship with Skinner, Jay, do you think we hold him for a bit, see what he does in Pittsburgh, or do we drop him? Like, look at some of these other guys who may be on the wire who are hot right now?
I think this is so much better for Skinner, like just overall. Like think about the negativity he was facing in a huge Canadian, biggest probably right now. I think Edmonton even passed Toronto in terms of revenue, right? So I think Edmonton might literally be, the Oilers might literally be the biggest Canadian franchise right now. And then if you're flipping it and seeing on the other side of like Skinner's going to a bonafide, beautiful, joyful sports city in which they basically support all their fans like indefinitely. They are super supportive. It's an amazing, like, low, what do you call it? Like low pressure city, so to speak. You know what I mean? They yielded championships and whatnot because it's like conducive to players being in that sort of low pressure environment. If he does well, Alan, it's amazing. If he doesn't do well, he leaves. Like I think I would definitely want to be on the Skinner side of the sweepstakes where like he has nothing to lose in this setup and everything to gain. Whereas I think Jari's on the other end, he's immediately thrown into a pressure cooker is my take.
Yeah. And it's hard to apples to apples the numbers on these two. Cause again, if Jari really has been dealing with some sort of underlying injury for well over a year, it's going to affect his numbers. And even his conditioning in the A doesn't quite give us the full picture. I feel like kind of Pittsburgh sold high on Jari, and we'll see what comes of it. If he gives them even like 10% better save percentage than what Skinner was giving them, that's probably what Edmonton was hoping for. And we'll see where that gets them in the playoffs, because I think there just isn't a big enough data set to show what Jari can do for them in the playoffs. So Quinn Hughes time.
Quinn Hughes.
Quinn
Quinn
Hughes
Hughes.
time. All right. So yeah, unfortunately we don't have anything. Well, we have some information on the pieces that went to Vancouver because they have just played one game today. So yes, Quinn Hughes, the Madmen in Minnesota did it somehow. Quinn Hughes was traded to Minnesota, and then going the other way, some fantasy relevant pieces. We have Zeev Boyum, Marco Rossi, and Liam Ogren going to Vancouver. So yeah, Jay, man, I got a ton of notes here. I'm just gonna run with all this, and then we can discuss afterwards. So this is huge for Minnesota because right off the rip, he instantly becomes their most productive defenseman. So besides Faber in the 23-24 season at 47 points, their top scoring defenseman hasn't broken 45 points since Ryan Suter in 1920. Like Quinn Hughes is a guy, even with kind of like a middling team around him, 60, 70, 80, 90 point seasons from him. So this is huge for Minnesota. And this is a team that's definitely needed more scoring from their blue line. Definitely, I think that I've seen that on not maybe not 32 Thoughts, but other pundits out there that's like on Minnesota's wish list is more scoring from the blue line. Hughes fixes one of Minnesota's historical weaknesses, controlled keyword there, zone exits. And this is so I'm getting into what they call micro stats here, which is they're hard to get a hold of, hard to actually confirm without doling out money. So supposedly, Quinn Hughes is fifth last season among all NHL players in controlled exits per 60, where you actually like pass the puck or move it out yourself rather than just kind of like dumping it or like banking it off the glass and hoping that someone on your team gets it. Minnesota historically, yeah, plays that dump and chase model, which again, it's up in the air as to whether you actually gain control and make something of it. Again, I couldn't pull the exact stat on this one, but he's also reported to be in the top 10% for controlled zone entries as well, which leads to an increase in shot quality because again, you control how your team gets set up in the zone, rather than just kind of like dumping it, having to fight for it along the walls and then just kind of throwing it to the net. Yes. So even on that middling Vancouver team, Quinn Hughes, huge difference maker. So their expected goals for percentage goes from 68.1% to 45.6 without him last season. And that stat, because again, I don't claim to be an expert on mini stats, because Yahoo and Fantrax don't award me points for it. That is how much scoring a team or player should have based on, that them being on the ice. So anything above 60% means they're dominant, and less than 45 means you're getting your punched in. So yeah, the huge difference with him on the ice. Like, so this is absolutely going to be that one player is a huge game changer for Minnesota. And this is something that Jay and I kind of discussed yesterday. We're like, well, Quinn Hughes is kind of a tiny guy. Like in Minnesota, they have a lot of guys who throw the body a lot. Like, how's Quinn going to keep up with these guys? Like, but he's not a guy who throws his body. He's more of he gets a lot of his defense from his speed, his positioning. He's a guy who goes, not afraid to go to the wall, get the puck, and again, start those controlled zone exits, which is what he's known for. He's a puck moving defenseman, whether it's along the walls or in the neutral zone. So yeah, this is huge. And I think, Jay, we've joked about it that Minnesota power play quarterback is a pretty pointless job or worthless guy to have on your roster. I mean, what do we think now? Like, this is huge. I mean, this has got to be either we find out now it's either a systemic thing or they just didn't have the right guy.
Oh, I really appreciate the pun there with this is huge, but yeah, I agree. I agree.
Episode title.
Episode title, indeed. My big one I'm so curious to see is just I had to dig further into it, Alan, but I was like, did you have offhand their overall ranking? Like, let's say ranking where Vancouver was on
Oh,
the power play, where Minnesota
I
was on converting the
don't.
power play. Let me see if I can like dig it up quickly over here. But my initial thought was just so uh who
And
was
that was something I did try to find. I tried to look at this season stats, which didn't I couldn't confirm my bias that way. But that was yeah, it was trying to be like, see how better power plays are with an elite defenseman. But it was like Colorado is one of actually right now one of the bottom power plays. It was like, oh, that doesn't
that doesn't
help.
confirm my
Yeah,
bias
that
for
doesn't confirm our bias here. So let
finding
me pull up
other things
last
to support.
season's.
But yeah, like so right now for talking about power play percentage, let's see. So let's see power play percentage.
It also doesn't help that I know Vancouver gets a lot of power play opportunities. At
Yes.
least, I don't know, it's a few years ago. I remember. So last year, Vancouver
So
converted at 22.5.
yeah. Oh, I found it. Okay, I found it. So
Minnesota,
Vancouver.
20.8.
Yeah, yeah. This year so far, Minnesota's at 21.8. Wait, so they're like literally just back at average. So they're basically exactly where they were before. And then Vancouver is converting at 19.2, which is horrendous. Holy
Yeah.
smokes. Yeah. Well, but they're both in the top half of the league, right? Minnesota's 10th, Vancouver is 15th. The best team in the league, hilariously, is Pittsburgh at 32%. That is
Yeah, I wonder that can't be sustainable. I mean, don't get me wrong. They have Sidney Crosby. They have Eric Carlson.
Right.
But something tells me that's going to come down to earth. And there's no way that with the glut of talent that the Avalanche have, that they're going to stay at the bottom like they are.
Bottom five, yeah. Toronto's bottom five too, right? And I think Toronto could definitely stay bottom five. Lord knows how bad they're playing. But digressing back, I would say if you were to take Vancouver and put them on a Minnesota, is Minnesota's power play lacking zone entries? Is that the one? I'm thinking like if you have Kaprizov and now you have Quinn Hughes, I feel like they're pretty set. You could argue that they were already set either way because they would likely have gone in. But either way, you could say if it used to be a 60, 70% chance, I'd probably say like 85% chance of a guaranteed zone entry now. And maybe that extra offensive time makes the difference. I think the big one too is Minnesota was a very top. Is still a very top.
Is. Yeah.
Yeah, very top heavy scoring, less so going down. Is a zone entry by a Quinn Hughes something that is relevant mainly for a power play setup, or does it also hold sway?
Oh, I think so. Yeah. If they kick the puck out, you got to get it back in. And you got to get set up on the power play. So absolutely, I'd say that's important to converting on the power play.
But is a zone entry for a defenseman really a 5-a-side play the exact same way? Like it's definitely a play for them to go on, the power play for sure. But is it something that Quinn would need to do on a 5-a-side? Because he was doing that 5-a-side, even with Vancouver. Right. But I mean, you're talking about Evander Kane, you're talking about a Brock Besser. Like these are like more run and gun players where, it is a dump and chase sort of style. So I wonder a little bit just about how I think immediately for Minnesota, they get the most talented player out of all of them. Easy peasy. You make that trade every day.
Right.
And then further, did you see that other breakdown where they ironed out, I think it was like they've traded away Quinn, JT Miller, all the
stuff they've got in return for it.
And it's been disgusting, right? Like if you were to look at it just as sum of parts, like Vancouver, man, it's hard. Like it's hard to see that and go, wow, I'm so happy with the trades we acquired.
I think they should have kept Bo, but that's just me.
It's so difficult. I guess we did mention this too, Alan, though, that I guess first, not only is Quinn immensely valuable for sure, and we think it's amazing.
Right.
I'm more excited
do we think he gets better somehow? So what was it yesterday? He was on a 70.
Yeah, what's his point pace right now?
70 73 point pace.
I think so. I think he's going to
Do
get to a
we
point per game. Yeah, for sure.
at least? Okay.
Um, and my main reason is just that you look at him and he's mainly a feeder, right? Man, this
Yes.
sounds like a
Oh,
bad
yeah, and
thing.
that was another thing I noticed is that yes, the majority of his assists are primary assists, which
Right.
I know some people are like his secondary assists are like bad. It's like, well, Yahoo doesn't subtract anything for them being secondary
Right.
assists. So, man.
Right. And
Um,
the other one I would say is it's not just a secondary assist thing, but I think primary assists and goals both indicate immediate relevance
to the
I guess
play.
unlocking
Right.
offense in the play. But secondary assists would indicate that there is a way more talented lineup available to grant you points for I mean, actually, Alan, now I'm trying to immediately think like if you had a stretch pass and then another guy dished it to a man with the
Yeah,
open gaping
it's
net,
stretch
then
pass to
obviously
like a
this
2-on-1 or something, right?
yeah,
And
the
you
stretch
caught
pass obviously
yeah.
was huge to the play. But I guess the other one is more like those plays where like the goalie like dished it off to the defenseman on the side, and then they made the stretch pass that scored. I was like, well, I guess he passed to the defenseman, but still, like it's kind of weird that pass to the defenseman still garnered and gained the exact same value as the primary assist of that. You know what I mean?
Right. But yeah. So yeah, I think Minnesota as a team obviously gets better. Um, yeah, I think this is a rising tide, lifts all boats.
Oh, yeah, lifts all boats. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree.
I don't know by how much. I don't know by how much. Um,
I think he should. Do you think like reasonably? Okay. Well, the other one too is now the people he is feeding. Like there was what Boldy, Kaprizov,
yeah,
Jeek. I think was also a feeder, right? Yeah, Jeek was mainly a feeder, but yeah, feeding Boldy and Kaprizov. I think just on the basis of its own, like Boldy is outscoring Kaprizov right now, which is disgustingness. Like that is craziness for that to be true. So, I just think there's so much more scoring talent on his team. Marcus Johansson has 11 goals. Oh my goodness.
I know,
Okay.
right? Well, he had that little like out that burst in the beginning of the
Right.
season when they had
Right.
when Zuccarello was out and he was getting
Yeah.
top
Yeah.
line minutes for some reason. So yeah, I think we can move to the other side of the trade here because D Stu pointed it out. So we got Rossi, Boyum, and Ogden going to Vancouver. So my first question got answered immediately. Zeev Boyum, it does look like is on power play 1. Might be worth, if you're looking for like a defenseman replacement or just take a gamble on him, see if he is owned. I think he was around just go check territory as of like a week or two ago. But he is power play 1. He did get in that first period a power play goal and a power play assist. I was wondering if maybe they were going to give Hronik like a handful of games until Boyum got settled. My only concern about like that nice hot start is that typically when players get traded immediately like that is they just kind of tell them to just go out, do your thing until they get a few practices, learn the system. So yeah, I wouldn't like expect 2 points per game for the rest of the season like that. But it was certainly a nice Sunday surprise if you picked him up, fully expecting him to get power play 1. So, and this could change because PD is out right now. But power play 1, as they practiced yesterday, I didn't check the lines in the game, but power play 1 on Saturday practice was Boyum, Rossi, Besser, Garland, DeBrusque, and Rossi did skate 1C. Jay, you have to imagine once Pedersen comes back that Rossi is now their 2C, which is exactly what Vancouver was dying for, was a 2C.
Agreed. I would even say, yeah, like aside from Boyum, I don't know if any of the other guys become immediately like fantasy. What do you call it?
Fantasy relevant. Yeah,
run don't walk guys. I don't think I'm not saying Rossi wouldn't have value. Rossi has immense value. It's just Rossi is more now value when Vancouver has value, as opposed to
There we go.
value just because Kaprizov and Boldy exist as players.
Yeah, I feel like Rossi is hold while Pedersen is out, maybe becomes one of the bottom guys on your roster, depending on Vancouver's schedule. You have to think he holds power play 1.
Right.
Even with Pedersen back. I don't know who gets bumped off, though.
Yeah, because what were we looking at? It was William, Rossi, Besser, Garland, DeBrusk, and I don't know. Like,
you gotta think Besser. You gotta think Besser's a fixture.
Yeah, I think so.
Does want to go like Garland or DeBrusk?
Garland,
and I don't know who plays where.
But the other one too is I would need to watch more of Vancouver specific power plays, practices, and all that stuff just to familiarize. Like, you're needing the guy to take the face off, and I was like, PD takes enough face offs, but I was like, does Rossi take enough face offs on his own to justify, like, in case he gets kicked out of the dot? You know what I mean? I was like, it's like a Brock Nelson on the Colorado sort of deal, and I was thinking, I would have to watch and like check some of these practices just to see enough, like, pour through the stats for it. But yeah, like aside from Rossi gaining value as a supplementary power play 1 piece, like, it's mostly just if he is like power play 1 and at least line 2. Can he sustain all of that and give enough production? Last year, wasn't he he played all the games and was half a point per game? You know what I mean? Like, it's 60
points. I think he's one of those guys that everyone expects every year to break out. And I'm like, all right, guys, your funeral. Yeah. 60 points last year. He's on a similar pace this year, but who knows what being in Vancouver will do to that. Again, my concern is Vancouver done making moves? Right.
Now, I would say too, the last one I would say is Rossi is a huge value in terms of like the deeper leagues, right? Because I would say if you have Quinn, oh, that's fantastic.
Quinn who?
Yeah, that's fantastic. Quinn who? Yeah. But Alan, did you even see the ages of these guys that were getting traded as well? Like, they talk as if Quinn is like some, like geriatric. And I was like,
no, he's in his prime. He's like, what, 26?
Like, 26 years old. Anyways, I don't know. I think no matter what, like, he must have said something explicit to management saying he was not going to be considering anything Vancouver-wise for the future or something. I read something that they said he was really struggling with the losing, which I get. This is a team 2 years away from being in the conference finals, right? So I get it. It's just, maybe not conference finals, conference semis, maybe, was it? But either way, it was,
like that,
it's tough when you have a team that looked to be this close getting home ice against Edmonton, and then now they are comfortably, maybe uncomfortably bottom of the league, right?
Gavin McKenna sweepstakes.
But truthfully, like, that's the another one out. And like, think about it. I think Rossi could be huge in terms of targets for like just peace mind and piecemeal it for the future seasons, where if they get McKenna and they still have Boyum and Rossi, like, think about the cheek players people forget about. Everyone remembers a Boldy, everyone remembers the Kaprizov, but you get that sort of peripheral access to these top guys. Like, that's gonna be a Marco Rossi if they get McKenna. Is what I mean.
And I wonder, like I said, I wonder if Vancouver's done. So even if Rossi doesn't get, even if Rossi's the one that gets bumped off power play 1, if there's room for him to get back, if some of these guys get moved. Because I think Vancouver, we said yesterday, is like comfortably last place right now. Yikes!
It's like 5 points and games in hand, Alan. It's like, what the fuck happened? It's disgusting.
They're making it look like not even.
They're running away with the competition, or I guess the competition is running away from them. I don't even know, like, how you phrase it. Yeah.
Cool. Anything before we close this section of the show?
Let's move it.
All right.
Let's move it.
So moving on to injuries, Jared McCann. God, But easy come, easy go, man. I was just enjoying having him back. It looks like he is out 3 weeks. I didn't quite catch what the injury was, but it sucks. He was one of the few players on Seattle consistently doing anything. Now what you do, I don't know. And it's like, because I think we had just recommended him as like a streamer for this past weekend, because he was one of the few guys in Seattle, or one of the many guys in Seattle less than 50% owned. So next up, huge loss for Tampa. Victor Hedman will be having elbow surgery tomorrow, Monday. Expected to return in time for the Olympics, the beginning of February. Oh God, what's Darren Radish's ownership up to? I think it's at least 60%. 66%. So maybe you'll be one of those 1 in 3 leagues where he isn't picked up, but worth checking. But yeah, dude, that dude is just amazing. If you were able to grab him, and he's a UFA after the season, so that dude is going to get paid. But if you didn't grab Radish, I'm sorry. So Bo Horvat, I don't even know if this is accurate or not, but so at first it was some kind of weird trip or something that happened, but first they said day to day, then it was week to week. So the last thing I've kind of seen, unless you've seen something different, Jay, I have seen 1 to 3 weeks with a lower body injury.
Yeah, it says day-to-day lower body injury, which is the worst for any folks that are, well, I mean, yeah, just telling listeners now and any fantasy commissioners, please switch to IR plus.
Yeah, this is exactly why you should have IR plus. Because screw IR.
Nothing would have changed, right? Nothing would have changed. He's still in the red slot designation and he punches him down. That's it. But if you don't have an IR plus setup in your league, then you're in the state where you're waiting for, hoping that they list him as IR. That allows
may never come,
and it may never come. Right? He might be day to day, and I think he's still listed as day to day right now, Alan. So it might be one where he's truly week to week, but then they're listing him as day to day as like some sort of, I don't know,
and all IR is like a designation for like salary cap reasons. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
But yeah, this really sucks for the Islanders because they're a much better team than we thought they'd be going into the season.
Do they even
and that's really going to hurt their depth.
And do they even have anyone else of fantasy relevance and value? Like Barzal is already taken.
Right.
Like
Heineman, who has been just multi-cap monster. For some reason, this Jonathan Drouin guy is back in the lineup. Looks like Callum Ritchie is the new 2C.
It's crazy how far down I have to scroll just to see Jonathan Drouin. It's actually insane. But he's still line 1, power play 1, Alan. I'm telling you. Oh my god.
What was the stat? They were like 4-1, which, well, I guess they won yesterday, but they were 4-1 with Jonathan Drouin out. All I'm saying is they should maybe keep him out.
It's crazy.
Anyway, so
Alan, who is this Callum Ritchie guy? Who is this Callum Ritchie guy?
I feel like he's been in their system for a while.
He's the center of the second line, because I was gonna go and like
center.
I was gonna go suggest like JGP as usual, and I was like, wait,
you know
JGP is the third line center? What the hell happened here? Yeah,
so it's only his second year in the NHL. I want to say he came over in the Brock Nelson trade because the only other team he is listed under is Colorado.
Perfect. Makes sense. But yeah, like this team, exactly as Alan mentioned, is like the huge issue is a talent dearth, right? So the dearth of talent makes it so that, he's out. Yes, he is out, Alan. Yes, he is out, Jay. Who do we get?
Right? This is one of these teams where it's like, maybe I don't pick the next guy up. Maybe I don't pick look at other teams.
Just find somebody else. Yeah.
Like, what's Seattle doing?
True.
Right?
True.
And then next up, Timo Meier out on a personal matter. Sucks because New Jersey just can't catch a break this season. Because what was their top line yesterday? They still won their game yesterday. They lost today.
Mercer actually gave some pretty good value today. It was he had an assist on the
one goal they got.
The sole goal they got, yeah. Which which also is strange. Like Vancouver, what are you doing? You traded away your top guy, and then you're beating New Jersey. Anyways,
No, they
what?
got beat by they beat
No, but
New Jersey.
Vancouver beat Jersey. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I was like, guys, if you're McKenna, if you're really gonna commit to the Gavin McKenna, like you do not do this. You know, you don't
Well, and that's
trade
what
away.
the funny thing about the NHL is, like, just because you're in last place doesn't guarantee you first overall pick. Like, it's still a
Yes.
lottery. Yeah, so Jersey stacked that top line. It's Brett, Heisher, Mercer. Mercer's the only guy you might be able to pick up. But then that second line, Palat, Glass, Brown. Although that seemed to be the only line that really scored yesterday. So I was really glad we told I forget who it was to bench Heisher because he didn't do anything.
Right. Yeah.
Not that I remember if Aho did anything. I forget that. I think that game ended in a shootout with Carolina.
Let's give it a check. What did Aho do yesterday? Aho had
Did he have nothing to
wins yesterday?
All right.
Oh man.
So it was a crap.
It was a nothing burger. Guys, it's fantasy, man. It's fantasy.
Right. And then Strome wouldn't have been any better because Winnipeg almost shut them out. I just barely got Hellebuck in time. Oh, which is I have in the news later. So yeah, New Jersey, that sucks because Arseny Gritsyuk was also out for the weekend too, and he was getting power play one time. That would have been huge for him. But next up, Connor Bedard left the end of Friday night's game, clutching his shoulder. We kind of talked about this on Saturday. He didn't play yesterday. They have made like a call up in the meantime. They're saying he's unavailable for their next 3 games. That sucks. Like, it automatically just tanks the value of pretty much anyone in Chicago. I don't know. Hopefully it's just I don't know, was it separated shoulder or something? Hopefully it's something small enough that he immediately comes back. It's not like Josh Norris where he's going to spend like half the season out and then just keeps hurting his shoulder. That sucks. But yeah, we got a few returns. Ricard Raquel, he's playing today. I saw he got an assist. He's tri-eligible in Yahoo. And I think he is I think he's around just go check territory. I think he's like a little bit above 50%. And like I just said, Connor Hellebuck did return, stopped all but one against the Capitals yesterday. Says he feels great. Showed it. But it also didn't help the Capitals. I think only had 3 shots in that first period. So they did themselves no favors. And Lucas Dostal also returned. But it didn't seem to help the Ducks any. Boo.
Oh man.
So moving on to the schedule. So this week, the only oddity is that Sunday is considered a heavier day. It has 9 games, so a little more than half the teams in the league play. But yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 games. Tuesday, Thursday, 10 games. Saturday, 13. Nothing really fancy there. The big news, we kind of touched on it in the shutdown shift. The Rangers have one of those once in a blue moon occurrences, 5 games. They play Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. There's 16 teams with 4 games. The off-night leaders, you got Florida and Winnipeg. Florida plays Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and then Winnipeg closer to having 4 games, 4 off nights. They play Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, depending on how you want to look at that Sunday with 9 games. Worse schedules. You got 7 teams with 3 games, no off nights. Buffalo, Calgary, Chicago, Columbus, Philly, San Jose, and Seattle. And there we go. Jay, I see you typing away furiously in the notes there. I was going to ask you. So this before we get into like specific like tier 1, tier 2 streamers, did you have any observations as to kind of like, you know, how to maybe try to get the most out of those streams?
Oh yeah. No. It's just, yeah, you saw me pecking away. I guess it's like not a consideration, but I guess the way you build your streaming strategy on a week-to-week basis comes in handy when you have a shitty week like such. And the reason I'm saying shitty week as such is that you end up with players that could hypothetically play a ton of various matchups, a ton of various different numbers of games, like, the Rangers, all that stuff. The only problem is the Rangers actually play on all the heavy nights and one light night. And they also play on a Monday and a Sunday setup, which means you don't have any rollover for week 12. You don't have any ability and capacity to, I guess, like flip midway through the week and have a pivot if you think your team is doing well, not doing well, all that sort of stuff. So they are inevitably the best team if you're just looking at this week in a vacuum. And I think they have nice and juicy matchups as well, Alan, where they're facing the worst team in Vancouver, middling, struggling St. Louis, second
Anaheim,
worst team.
Could be coming back down to earth like a little bit.
For sure.
And then do I see Nashville? Nashville the end of the week?
Yeah, they're hanging out, just chilling. Oh, it's ridiculous.
Which could be a trap game.
Right. They have a juicy setup on paper, and they have a juicy schedule on paper. I'm just saying, if you as a manager are not able to get the Rangers, there is still so much value elsewhere. And also there is value in terms, I guess, just conceptually thinking about your roster construction. So schedule right off the bat, you're looking, there are 3 days. They're all off nights. They only have 5 games playing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right? So then when you're looking Monday, Wednesday, Friday, first of all, across the schedule, Alan's already got them. Alan, you want to say which 2 teams we got?
Or wait, which 2 teams for what?
For the Monday, Wednesday, and Friday off nights.
Oh, yeah. Florida and Winnipeg.
Yeah, so look there first and foremost, right? I think like the first name, if we're saying for Florida, Alan, do we say a Sam Miskevich? Like I think he was still getting top power play deployment at a certain point. It's I'm just gonna pull back first. Let's see. So
let's just say before we get into specific guys here. Are any of these teams standing out to you? Like I know, like I think you said, like New York, like you pick someone up for Monday, Tuesday, they suck. You can still bail on them and pivot to one of these guys that have like 3 games and 4 nights kind of thing. I'm trying to see who else has like so a schedule like that. Anaheim, you could pick someone up for Monday, Tuesday. Kind of do that same
They're
thing.
the only other team with a Monday, Tuesday. They're the only 2 teams with Monday, Tuesday back-to-backs are Rangers and Anaheim. So I would even say too, right now, any listeners that are live listening, like, welcome. First, you're awesome. And the second one is, if your team is already like winning by like 800 billion points, drop your players that you need, like that are already still playing today, but you have an unassailable lead. Drop them for a Ranger, drop them for a Duck, and you get 2 games early next week. I would say too, for I guess the back-to-back rollover that you can kind of picture is, if you have this, what you can schedule afterwards is the Blues and the Kings play on Wednesdays and Thursday. That's their Wednesday, Thursday back-to-back. So when you look at those
Kings games, though, man, Florida and Tampa back-to-back road trip, yikes.
I mean, like, yeah, the Blues could have a tough time. I'm not saying grab a Hofer or grab a
LA.
Yeah, don't. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, LA plays Tampa and Florida back to back.
Don't grab a. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm blanking over here. I was like, who is the second guy for backstopping Kemper there? It's Anton Forsberg. Yeah. Don't grab Anton Forsberg. Yeah. But hey, like if you are looking to snag for example, let me see, like a.
Well, and it's not Kuzmenko. I think it was Laferriere.
Laferriere. Yeah, if you're looking to grab a Laferriere, 9% ownership, right? Or an Anjay Kopitar, still somehow stable to the top power play. And God, Alan, am I seeing Drew Doughty back on top power play again?
Yeah. Brant Clark got it for all of like a game before Drew Doughty was healthy.
It just breaks me still. I mean, Jake Neighbors is still getting top power play deployment now. Do we want to suggest that to listeners? I don't know. It's the schedule, guys. The schedule.
Yeah, I was about to say before we start naming names. Yeah, we just I just figure we talk about that, see if we can find those kind of opportunities.
Yes,
but for the week long holds, tier 1 streamers, it's New York. I was gonna say watch for Scott Morrow. I'm glad I said on the shutdown shift, like keep an eye on it, but don't run out and pick him up
Mm.
because that lasted all of one period before they went back to a 5 forward power play. Let me double check because last lines I saw had laugh on that. So yeah, right now power play 1 is Alexi Lafreniere, Vinny Tro, JT Miller, Panarin, and Zibby. So yeah, Lafreniere is 23% owned. Probably the only really guy you're gonna get for the Rangers to stream all week. Other than that, Will Cooley, 46% owned. Great to have in your like bangers categories league. Probably the only other guy that would make that power play if they're doing 5 forwards. Braden Schneider for category coverage. Anyone else you're looking at, Jay? Not exactly a super friendly team to stream from. I mean, maybe Gavrikov might give you category coverage, but I feel like Braden Schneider is the king there.
Give me a second now. I do want to pull up and look through and like.
Oh yeah, that Noah Leba guy, Noah Leba. I feel like I'm butchering his name, and I'm going to hear about it later.
No, Noah wait. How do you spell his name? L-A-B-A?
Noah Leba. Yeah, L-A-B-A.
Oh, yeah, he's getting power play too. Yeah.
I mean, getting power play too, but I know he got a couple points yesterday in that. Was it like 6-5, 5-4 game?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think laugh on both the Kings and Rangers. I think that's probably the value add on both guys and both sides. I would even say if you could do laugh squared, right? Like have Lafreniere in the first half and then
there you go.
Drop and then grab laugh on the second, on the Wednesday, Thursday back to back, and then see what your see what your Friday, Saturday, Sunday weekend looks like. I think that's probably the play.
Go for the laughs.
But go for the laughs, indeed. But Al, what do you think about should we be quick on the draw or?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Right?
And yeah, the goalies, I had that in the goalie section, but absolutely, Jonathan Quick is most likely guaranteed to get at least 2 starts this week. If you feel, it depends on how confident you are that he will get goal support.
Yes, agreed. Which I think weirdly has been it's been bunchy, right? I think that's the issue with the Rangers.
The Rangers have been better on the road than at home. So that first back-to-back, they're home and home. So Saturday, Sunday, they're home and away. So again, it depends on who, which Rangers team you get.
I don't know which player is the newly minted father, but I guess they're not getting sleep at home is the big issue right now. Yeah, they need the hotel to get some shut eye. But yeah, I think another play to potentially suggest to any listeners would be if you cannot do both of the strategies I mentioned at the same time, right? You can't take advantage of all 3 off nights, the 5-game light off nights, and then also benefit from the back-to-backs and then drop for a back-to-back and back-to-back. So I think if it were me, I would hard to commit and check which side you were looking at first. If, for example, you could start it off and get any Rangers and Ducks early, then what I would do is I would definitely think of the back-to-backs, because what you could roll through is you could start with guys that are heavy Rangers, heavy Ducks, switch them in for Blues and Kings, and then check to see on Thursday if you still are chasing the week or not chasing the week. If you were chasing the week, then I would say you could go heavy on a Friday, Saturday or a Friday, Sunday split. And on the opposite end, if you already were pretty confident with your guys, you could roll out, have the guys play and slot in as the remainder and utilize your additional picks, additional ads for any guys to roll over for week 12 going forward. This is almost like a mid-season strategy pivot to utilize your ads. But you could also invert it, right? You could just get Monday, Wednesday, Friday Panthers and Jets.
Yeah.
And then come to your consensus at the end of the week saying, hey, look, it's a Saturday. Join us on Sys Start come Saturday, and then say, hey, what do I want? Do I want any of the guys that are here able to get me immediate value for this weekend? Or am I going to, roll ahead for the weekend, for the next week's setup for week 12 and try to see what value is gainable there? Can I roll over ads? I think that sort of play is the heavy aspect, but you have 6 teams that you're looking at. The first 4 teams are Rangers, Ducks, Blues, Kings, right? These are the guys that you can have 4 nights of value played in the first 4 games of week 11. On the flip side, you can go, I want the 3 off nights for week 11. I can get the Monday, Wednesday, and Friday games from the Panthers and from the Jets. Once you kind of can isolate which one of these strategies you're at, then you go from there.
So speaking of the Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So first up, yeah, the other tier 1 team we're saying is Florida. They have that Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So for me, Anton Lundell might be the priority grab, 39%. He is line 1 with Reinhardt. He is power play 2 though. And I think someone who should be widely available, I forget his first name, Luosterainen, 4%. He is also line 1. And he has 2 points in 4 goals, or 2 points in 4 games since coming back.
Yes. I think Alan, you might have covered all of them. Like, they have so many guys that are already owned up. Like, it's not really is Florida the new like, you know how Toronto and the Rangers used to be the teams where it's like you basically are grabbing like periph dudes. That's pretty much it. And now I feel like when you come to Florida, like there's no power play value at all anywhere for you to suggest to folks.
Although, how owned is Carter Verhaeghe? Because I feel like
Carter Verhaeghe 70% owned.
Okay. I was about to say I was able to, although it was a 10 team, so I feel like it's just everyone's got studs. I was able to pick up Carter Verhaeghe in one spot because he got dropped.
Right. But he's more owned than Sam Bennett, which is insane to say. Like Conn Smythe Trophy winner, Sam Bennett, right? Like, just kind of nuts to say out loud.
I would say AJ Greer if you're looking for hit coverage. He does hit a lot.
82 hits, 31 games. Yeah, 2.5 hits a game. Yeah, good value there.
Anyone else? I know a lot of, for some reason, like Gustav Forsling is so highly owned, and I'm not sure I get it.
I don't think I'm
going to get power play time.
He and Ekblad. I don't know. Well, he and Ekblad are owned in the same reason that they would get immediate like bump up to power play 1 deployment if so. But
I was like Ekblad would, not Forsling.
Yeah. Agreed. But the other one is Seth Jones is already sitting on power play 1, and dude in our league with like our super bangers, he's he's over 200th. You know what I mean? Like he's not delivering on that top. I don't know what value people were drafting him at. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know for a fact he's not delivering anywhere close to draft value. It says on the draft preseason he was around 150, and now he's 100 spots below that. So this power play 1.
Yeah, now that they have Seth Jones, like Ekblad is back to being just a boring vanilla guy that gets overdrafted. So yeah, moving on to tier 2. And this first team, I wrote all these notes before last night's games, so I'm sorry. They probably heard me typing, and yeah, they took that personally. So Winnipeg, I typed, they know what they did to get here. They're currently bottom 3rd in goals for per game over the last 2 weeks. I don't think that really makes them a tier 1 team. But Iafallo is off power play 1. They have Cole Perfetti back up there. He is 21%. But again, I feel like this team really struggles to get scoring from anyone not named Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, or Gabe Vilardi. Neil Pionk might be 50 or he's 56% owned, but I feel like that ownership is probably skewed by leagues where you would own him. Categories, bangers. But yeah, I feel like, oh my God, Logan Stanley, probably your high risk, high reward guy. I know he had a goal last night. But yeah, I feel like they took my notes personally, that 5-1 drubbing of the Capitals. But I don't know. I feel like this is going to be a totally different team with Connor Hellebuyck back, and some of these things could change for them.
Yeah, and I mean, a reminder to any folks that, Eric Comrie, what was his ownership rate? Just like skyrocketing up to like 30% at one point. Remember terrible. To drop this man. Like he is, not worthy and deserving of your roster spot.
Because what was the stat I saw? Like they were 11-4 or something like that with Connor Hellebuyck, but then went like 3-11 or 3-12 without him. Yeah, so they're going to be able to play a lot looser, probably, knowing that Connor Hellbuck's backstopping them. So, yeah,
it is insane. It is insane just how good that American man is. Like, Hellboy is, oh, he has saved so many managers from their skins, like, and their sins, honestly. Like, it is.
I was really hoping for
It
the
is
shutout.
insane.
That would have maybe made my week in one league a lot closer.
For sure.
But next up, I think Dallas is worth a mention. I think just go check on Matt Duchene. He is up to line 3 right now. But yeah, you got to think he's a better choice for the top 6 than Sam Steele. Especially, yeah, they got shut out by Florida last night. I'm surprised they didn't try him in the top 6. Maybe they did. I didn't check the time on ice distribution. Now that Left Wing Lock wants to lock you out unless you pay for it. Yeah, Sam Steele, who is less than 1% owned, by the way, playing with Wyatt Johnston and Rantanen at even strength for now. Again, I hope that changes. I hope it's Matt Duchene moves up, plays on the wing. With the apparent death of, oh my gosh, what's his face? Lundell, not Lundell. Lundell is okay. But Michelle and Petrovic are now your 2 guys for riffs. There was the one guy whose name rhymed with Bichelle, but he is no longer of this mortal plane.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, the injuries. There we go. Safe, right? No, Bichelle is out. What the heck? I could have sworn Yahoo had him as
yeah, so it
it's Lundell and Bichelle that rhymed. There we go. There we go. Lundell.
There we go. But yeah, it's nutty because not only is he out, but they said he is like on long-term IR. I was like, what the hell? Like, anyways.
So there we go. Lundell and Petrovic are your peripheral guys.
Yeah. Lindell, you're talking about too, right? Could also be a good value.
Or Lindell, yeah.
Lindell, yeah.
Lundell is the Florida guy. And then his last one in tier 2, kind of a hot take, but Jay, you went right for it. I think St. Louis is worth mentioning.
Right.
So 3 of the 4 teams, and again, one of these has now changed. 3 of the 4 teams that they play in this week are in the bottom half of goals against per game over the last 2 weeks. Again, now that Hellebuck is back, that will absolutely change and skew that. But I would say just go check on Falk, 60%. But Dylan Holloway, you might want to give it a minute on. Looks like he went down funny and just kind of needed help off the ice during practice. You have Brady and Shen, Neighbors widely available. Buchnevich just kind of ended a hot streak. You never know when he maybe start up again. Yeah, I feel like the Blues have quite a few guys to choose from. But yeah, like I said, I think it's actually their first 3 matchups. Yeah. Nashville, Winnipeg, Rangers. Those 3 teams are toward the bottom of the league, or in the bottom half of the league in goals against per game. So they're definitely teams that let stuff in, which is what you want in streams.
100%. Yeah, I don't really know. I think we've said so much about St. Louis already. I think, yeah, just for any listeners, St. Louis has a good schedule. St. Louis has several players that have played far beyond the current value they seem to show. There are juicy injuries on St. Louis that pop in and out constantly to open up further spots. Dylan Holloway now is day-to-day. So, well, I mean, this opens up value for what? There's Thomas. Was Snuggerud out too? Never mind. Okay, but yeah, value still for guys like Neighbors. Value still for guys like, I guess, Booch. Check the Blues specifically for the coming week, specifically for that Wednesday, Thursday back-to-back.
Oh, and this is perfect timing. Good question before we get into goalies here. D Stew's got a question. He's looking for a defenseman this coming week. 5 games of Gavrikov in a Katzbanger league, or Dunn, Klingberg, or Boyum. 3 games.
I just go Gavrikov. Oh, actually, I guess these two, I would say first, how many power play quarterbacks do you have on your team at the moment? I would say if you have two, if you have one power play quarterback, then I would definitely snag one of, I would definitely snag Boyum. But I would also say if you didn't have, or you have Lacombe and you have Carlson,
Yeah, I was
I
gonna say
probably want the 5 games
Dunn.
of Gavrikov. I probably
Dunn
want.
will definitely give you shots and blocks coverage. Klingberg's actually, I hate to, I'm skittish at Klingberg lately because like he'll put up some nice numbers and then get like benched or scratched.
Yeah,
But he's actually been providing pretty balanced coverage lately, which was weird for him. It always seems like he would just give you points or nothing. And
I'm not.
Boyum, I feel like,
I'm not
not a
crazy
bad
sold
little
on.
first game.
I'm not crazy sold on Klingberg, but this might be an impression thing, right? Like when I'm looking at the stats, it looks very, very.
He's actually had a
juicy.
good
And
run
not,
lately. Yeah.
yeah, and then not only does it look like it, you look at the remaining team members that he's competing against, and you're like, wait, this seems like extremely sustainable. Like, is Dmitry Orlov going to take it off him? You know what I mean? Like,
I
it
know, and
looks.
that's the thing though, is if it's like if you guess wrong and Klingberg has a bad week, you should have grabbed Orlov from the beginning.
Yes.
And it's like
Agreed.
I feel like no matter what, though, Orlov will give you the other categories coverage, but he may or may not give you power play one, depending on what's going on that week. Yeah, it's just I feel I like the. I don't know.
I do.
It sucks. I'm torn between Klingberg and the 5 games of Gavrikov. Like I feel like Gavrikov doesn't do a whole lot that shows up on the box score, but it's 5 games. That's 2 more games that you have chances to have like a game where you get like 6 freaking hits or something.
So let's say,
Yeah.
because they have such a bad schedule too, right? Like a very average schedule, Alan. Like the Sharks have the Flames on Tuesday, Stars on Thursday. They have the Kraken on Saturday, right? So they have all heavy nights. They play
Right.
one of the best teams in the West, and then they also play the Flames and the Kraken. So
Right.
when I'm framing this and picturing this, we would need to be able to start the ad, right? So like look at your Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and check to see if you even need to add any guys, or can you start all guys anyway, right?
Yeah, and also
If you're
don't
like
like done because they play Colorado, they
yeah,
play Calgary, and then they play the
pretty good.
Sharks. Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, who does Vancouver play?
I mean, Vancouver is a bad matchup for themselves, right?
Rangers, Islanders, Boss. Yeah, I don't like that
But they
matchup
still
either.
get an off night at least, right?
Yeah, but I
I
mean, a
think just keep it
defenseman, you're
simple.
gonna have an easier time getting in, even on the busier nights.
Yeah, I think I would keep this. Okay, rephrase.
There we go.
These
He's
two,
not. No matter what, it sounds like he's got no problem fitting in a defenseman all week.
I would say if you're doing it just for this week, these two, I would go Gavrikov no matter what. But it sounds like you're asking not just for week 11 and you're asking for longer term, in which
No,
case I
it
think,
sounds like just this week. Yeah, I'm between Gavrikov and Klingberg.
yeah, I would say if you're doing just this week, right? Like Dunn's capped ceiling is like a Chandler Stevenson, which take it as you may.
Yeah.
Klingberg's ceiling is motherfucking Macklin Celebrini. So look
Right.
at the fucking insanity that guy is doing. It's nuts.
Yeah, there we go. Just this
So
week. So I would say it's if you feel like you lose power play points more often, maybe go Klingberg. But if you lose the like hits, block, shots categories more, maybe go Gavrikov.
yeah, I can see it. Yeah,
I think that's a
it.
fair way to go.
Let's do it.
Goalies. So yeah, like we mentioned earlier, Quick, at least when I checked on Friday, Saturday, he was only at 9%. He will get at least 2 starts this week. So it depends on how much you believe in the Rangers to score enough goals to win. Yeah, man, freaking Brandon Bussey. What just a a truck. In Bussy we trussy. I checked right before the show. He is 46% owned. That's 8% increase from when I checked like a day or two before. I can't imagine he stays less than 50% for long. He's gotten, well, and this was before Saturday, but he's gotten 5 of their last 7 games. 4 of those are quality starts. And I think he just set the record for the fastest goalie to 10 wins.
I think so too. That
I
sounds
think
about
so.
right.
Yeah.
That
It
sounds
sounds like we were talking about how we're worried about Carolina being like a tripod, a 3-headed goalie monster. Sounds like it's, at least for now, Bussy's net to lose. And it's crazy to think that this was just a guy that was floating around in Boston's system that got claimed off waivers.
just living life, living large, and holy moly, yeah, this dude.
Yeah.
What is in that New England water, Alan? Like, do they just churn
I
out like quality
don't
goalies?
think I want to know. I don't think I want to know. Hopefully it's not pumped in from Flint.
Oh,
And then I don't know if this is, maybe you don't pick him up right away, but Jonas Johansson, updates on Vasilevsky have kind of been sparse. And maybe it's you'll wait, and maybe Vasilevsky is back Monday and this is all moot. But sounds like Vazzy could be back Monday, in which case, yeah, again, don't worry about it. But I wouldn't start JoJo against the Panthers, maybe some of these other games. But yeah, he's been solid in Vazzy's absence, but someone else to look at in the event. You just need a goalie. I don't know, anyone else we've been looking at, Jay?
I think Solid is super underselling it though. Like, you look at him.
I know. I don't want to be accused of homerism, which I'm sure a lot of people anyway would accuse me of.
He's been good. And that's the weird part, because he's let in a goal in 3 consecutive games and only got 1 win out of it. And then you look like he let in 4 goals, and I was like, okay, it is, they still crushed.
Yeah, that Jersey game was
right,
crazy. Yeah,
and then
even yesterday too, but I think it was still a respectable save percentage.
Right. I think at the end, if you look at the standings,
most of these games were without Hedman, we're without McDonough, we're without Chernak. So yeah, whatever the new defensive structure is in Tampa, it's fucking working, and it's pretty good. Because like Destu is looking like a freaking stud. Darren Radish looking like a stud. Tampa's doing a lot with a little defensively for somehow. And it's making JoJo look good. So it's not the end of the world. That it used to be the end of the world when Vazzy was out with any sort of term, but yeah, JoJo has actually been pretty serviceable in his absence.
For sure. I was even gonna say, like, I would, if I was sitting here as a Tampa fan, like, I'm decently comfortable enough where I'd say, like, for Vazzy, rest the back, like rest up a little, and they're top of the standings. They just need 500 all the way through the rest of the way, right? You need 500 hockey all the way through. How many games left do we got, Alan? Like,
what are we at? About 30
games left?
Yeah.
50 games. So if they got another 50 points, okay, that's not quite enough, right? But like, let's say you get 500 hockey and you get some sprinkled playoff losses in there too. Not playoff losses, sorry, overtime losses in there too. You will get more than enough than 100 points, 105 points, comfortably in the division, comfortably possibly like top. And then I get, a very, very, like, much more well-rested Vazzy. Yeah, I would way rather that situation than just a Vazzy that has to play lights out for the rest of the season just to, like, rush him back and all that jazz. I would not want that. I'm speaking as if I was a Lightning fan,
You know what? Since we have I know we have a few minutes, and we're going to cut the Yari and Quinn Hughes sections on their own. Yeah, man, there's got to be a couple other goalies out there that are worth mentioning. True. as we sit in silence. Yeah, you know what? I know Joel Hofer. The St. Louis has that back to back right off the rip. And I know, Jacob Fowler. Jacob Fowler is already 26% owned. I don't know. What do we think of that first start for Fowler, man? I mean, do we think that he is in fact the second coming of Carey Price?
What did you think of his second start?
Oh, did they start him again?
Well, no. Like, so he give me a second. I'm gonna pull up this game. So his first game was amazing, right? Like 36 saves, 38 shots.
Oh, I didn't realize they started him a second time. Ouch.
And then they put him against the Rangers, and then it was like, well, 5 goals against, 23 saves. Like, it's for a guy that got 36 saves in a win, it's kind of interesting to see a guy still end up below 900 save percentage after game 2, is what I'm basically trying to say. So,
ouch. So maybe not. This is why, like, I try not to like clamor to the hottest, shiniest new goalie, because it's sample size of 1. But all those people who grabbed Wallstedt ahead of me, congratulations. Right. I hate you. Congratulations.
I think he is so worth the high risk, high reward. You know what I mean? Like, scarily enough, Alan, and we have to say this again for the audience, at an 894 save percentage right now, he remains the highest save percentage in Montreal. Like, so who is he competing
against? 2 games. Yeah,
2 games. That's 2 games.
I'd be shocked if they give him the next start. But yeah, that was interesting. I totally missed where he got the start yesterday.
The one that is a little tougher, I would say as well, is right now today Montembeault is going to start, right? You don't want to be one of those rotating casts right now. If you are sitting in the spot where you are one of the 26%, 39%, or 26% owning Dobis, Montembeault, or Fowler in the Rota, you better hope to fucking God one of those guys does a Boosie and like completely crushes through and rolls in, because otherwise there is no value to holding, the third leg of a third tandem, like not just third leg, but the third place of a third leg tandem. Like, it's a waste of a roster spot. It means you are constantly wasting roster ads, burning through and cycling through. I would probably say if I had any of these 3 to choose, Alan, I would lean on Monty or Fowler. I don't know if I would be on a Dobish side right now. I would actually. No, rephrase. Okay. I would lean on the Dobish and Fowler side. I would not be wanting on the Monty side of it right now.
Gotcha.
But even then, I don't know, Alan. The one last thing I'd sit on is I realize it's not possible for you to sit on the sidelines and watch Fowler, because inevitably he's going to have the big game and people pick him up and start from there. Yeah, he'll be another Wallstedt. So maybe I would say, just in terms of asymmetric risk value proposition, I do think you go with Fowler.
Although I was reading, right now, and this was what I meant to include in the Shutdown Shift episode where we first talked about him. He is touted as the level of goalie prospect as an Askarov, as a Wallstedt, like very high end goalie prospect. So that first game was, I'm sure, what a lot of people expected. That second game was just welcome to the NHL.
Yes.
Take your lumps.
And I was even going to say, you probably want that inverse, right? Like sort of not inverse. You like it the way it is. So that's a big introduction. And then it's kind of okay a little bit. But then maybe there are some like overly aggressive drops from it. And then instead you can take that sort of good value that he might deliver and continue to deliver going forward.
Cool. But yeah, that's probably a very good place to wrap it. As always, those of you listening audio only, thank you so much wherever you are, wherever you brought us along. We'll be back Wednesday with the Shutdown Shift. Look forward to being in your ears again. Good day and good mental health, everyone.
We'll pick you up later.